What's up, everybody? Flyer Live Podcast is back after a short little hiatus. Season 2, episode 4. We're doing seasons now. Because there's nothing to do or talk about for golf in the winter here in Minnesota because it's cold. You can't play golf, you can't do anything. So, we decided to take some time off and do seasons instead of just come on here and just talk about literally nothing. We take a little break. So we're doing seasons now. Season 2, episode 4. We are an amateur golf podcast. I'm Josh, by the way, or Jish, whatever you would prefer. That's Mitch over there. We're an amateur golf podcast. I usually say we don't talk about the pros because we don't care about the pros, but we are going to talk about the pros today. But we do only talk about the pros when something that goes on with the pros can be relevant or helpful to us, which I think what we're about to talk about at some point today will hopefully be helpful in terms of helping people understand statistics and particularly their own statistics. And extra particularly if anybody is somebody that is on a golf improvement journey, I think this will be helpful at least for your mentals. But anyways, normally we don't talk about the pros. We just talk about amateur golf because we're amateur golfers. That's all we know. That's all we do. I was gonna say that's all we're good at, but sometimes we're not very good at that. So. We are live on X and YouTube. Our replays, video replays, if you're a replay person, are on X and YouTube as well. If you are a audio person, the replays are on all the major podcast places that you get. So if you listen to them, they're probably there. What else we got, Mitch? Because we're live, if you're watching live, feel free to chat along. We like to chat. We have friends in here chatting occasionally. The point of doing this live mostly is to hang out with each other, of course, Mitch, but also hang out with our golf friends and talk golf. And we're just trying to build a community here of people that like to talk golf and want to talk golf. And the best way to do that for us is to click this live button and then chat along with whoever wants to. So.
Absolutely.
That's all I got. What do you got?
So
Should we be done?
yeah, that's
For
it.
t- should we, yeah, yeah. We got a podcast. We're actually done now.
No,
Bye.
well, I'll open up with a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. But
Okay,
first,
perfect.
something is broken on your end. We are not live on X. We are live on YouTube, but not on
Oh,
X
oh, oh,
slash
oh.
Twitter.
It says
Oh,
streaming. Okay, not
while you
ideal.
figure that out.
Oh, it does say live. It says live. Oh,
Oh, no, okay, maybe we're live now. It wasn't live when I was just there. We might be good now.
yeah, I don't see it either. Um, it does say live though.
When I was just there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can hear you. You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
anyway.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about something that was tweeted out by Brandel Chambly,
Yes.
aka Mr. Hates Live so much.
Yes. He hates a lot
It,
of things unless it can help him maybe get like a bonus with the PJ Tour or something.
true. Anyway, so there was a interesting post that he had about the PGA Tour make percentage for talking about putts, from 4 feet to 8 feet, 10 feet to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, and 25 between 2005 and 2025. And what he was showing is essentially that um, the PGA Tour make rate from all those distances has been declining over the last 20 years. Now, this was very interesting. My first initial reaction was essentially that PGA Tour pros, while still being excellent putters, understand the data more. So they're spending more time on learning how to be better drivers of the golf ball and better ball strikers to hit more greens in regulation. Um, and then I know you had a post about it, and then Lou Stagner, Mr. Stats himself, did a
Yep.
deep dive
Yep.
into why they are different, and I thought it was quite fascinating. So I don't know if you want to go from what you said, and then we can dive into what Lou was talking about, because it turns out that the tour is actually not worse at putting than they were 20 years ago.
Correct. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is exactly what I said. Basically, what Lou tweeted is the data backing up what I said? And I was going through, maybe we can put up on the screen after I finish this. I'm tweeting out our show. I don't It doesn't show it on the page. You have to like
Yeah,
click on
yeah,
the
yeah.
live
That's what I was
thing and then
going
it's
with.
there. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it won't let me retweet it either. Anyway, it's all right.
Strange. Anyway, so let me find the tweet and I'll just pull it up because it actually made me laugh. Brandel. I was scrolling through this tweet, and here it is. I'm gonna put it up on the screen quickly. We're gonna share that right there, and then we're gonna go over here. There we go. So here's the tweet. It's the make percentage 20 years apart, 5 to 2025. And then I won't pull it up, but on top of this, Lou Stagner basically posted statistics that show that yeah, these numbers show it worse, but it actually doesn't make sense. I was just scrolling through the replies, and it's hilarious the
Oh,
things that
aim
people are
points in
putting.
there.
Yeah, well, because so basically what this tweet was, it's basically a rage bait tweet over aim point. He knew it was going to get people fired up because people think there's a large percentage of people that think aim point doesn't do anything. So he tweeted this to get people fired up about that. I'm 1,000% sure about that, and that's why aim point commented on it. But if you just like scroll through here, it's like whole locations are harder. Tiger Woods effect. Greens are harder and faster. No, statistically, no difference. It's too small. Lives fall. Just like, oh, Greens books aren't a thing anymore, and it's just like the things that people are coming up with for why this is true. It just if you just sit and think about it, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's because people don't understand like the math behind putting and make rates. Um, and so basically, what I tweeted is that the reason that the make rate goes down is because if you look at green and regulation percentage, and scoring percentage actually contributes to this a little bit too, but green and regulation percentage has gone up on the tour, overall green and regulation percentage, and every single major bucket of approaches, so like 25-yard buckets, every single one of them, green and regulation percentage has gone up. And you would think people that don't understand math will go, well, why does that make sense? Why would putt rates go down if green and regulation, putt make rates go up if green and regulation goes down or goes up? Putt green and regulation up, putt rate down, make rate down. And it's because of a couple things. One, the buckets that Brando was using are very large, especially the closer you get to the hole. So the first one on here is 4 to 8 feet. Like make rate from 4 feet on the PGA Tour is like 90%. Make rate from 8 feet is 50%. So in that 4 foot range, at 5 foot range he provided, you can either basically guarantee a make or it's a 50-50 make in one range. So the ranges don't even really make sense themselves, but it you would expect these to be lower anyway because of chipping, basically. When pros or anybody is missing the green, your first putt is going to be after a chip, so your putt is going to be closer to the hole than it otherwise would be. So back in 2005, there was just more putts from 4 feet, 5 feet. There was more putts from 10 feet, 12 feet. There was more putts from 15 feet, 16 feet. And then nowadays, there are more from 8 feet, more from 15 feet, more from 20 feet on the opposite end, which are less of a make. Their abilities are less to make when you're that far, you're farther away. Even like 4 feet matters bigly. So because they're far, and the reason they're farther away is because your approach shot will just be farther away from the hole than it is when you're chipping. So, as green regulation, to bring this all back to a head now, as green regulation percentage goes up, you are going to be farther away from the hole than you normally are, which means you're going to make less putts. And then in the case of these buckets, the approaches are or the first putts in general are going to be on the back side of those ranges versus on the front side of those ranges, which is, and then Lou Stagner basically said the exact same thing in his tweet with all the numbers that back that up.
Mhm.
So it really all has to do with the golfers are getting better at golfing the ball, but because they're getting better at golfing the ball, they're actually hitting it a little bit farther away from the hole on their approaches, which means putting is a little bit harder, which means they make a little bit less. Does not mean that people are getting worse because aim point makes it worse, or the pin locations are harder, the greens are none of that matters. They are fantastic putters, and also like they gain so much information from watching chips roll or watching other people's chips roll. So if there's less people chipping and themselves are not chipping as much, they have less information to go off of on their first putts. So I mean there's just so many things that yes, the rates are down, but it does not mean that golfers are getting worse or that aim point is a problem or that it's live tours fault. Like there's anyway, I kind of blab about a lot of things, but it has nothing to do with golfers getting worse at golf.
Right. It's actually golfers getting better at golf.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's understanding the data, understanding what it means to score well. Um, and there was an interesting post from Golf Studios.
Oh, yeah.
What he said, um, greens and regulation, 2005, 64.38%.
Yep.
2025, 66.56%. So, like I said, hitting more greens in regulation. But here's an interesting couple of things that I saw, or that he posted. The three putts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in 2005, they three putted more often at 3.26 than in 2025 at 2.93. And they one putt less often in 2005 at 38.39% to 39.25%.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so very, very interesting because on multiple fronts, they're hitting more greens in regulation, but they're also three putting less.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because they're also further from the hole, but they're three putting less often, which would tell me that they're actually better at putting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's exactly right. No, I mean, the more you look into the more you look into that data, like there is nothing on the planet that indicates those statistics actually signify PGA Tour players are getting worse at anything. Which is obviously they're not because the only thing you need to look at to prove that is scoring, which has gone down. so,
yeah,
so the math doesn't even work there. If putting gets worse statistically, but scoring goes up, that doesn't make any sense. or scoring gets better, that doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
So yeah,
It was
yeah. Anyways,
it was really interesting because I was just using it as a point to just kind of essentially troll people and just that they're just bombing the ball and they're just better and at that and that's why they're better golfers.
yeah.
But then actually digging into it and realizing that they're actually just better all around golfers. Anyway, I don't know if I'm freezing up on your end,
You
but
are
I'm
freezing. You are freezing just a
just
tad.
frozen something. So my,
Yeah.
is my the sound still coming through?
Sounds good. Yeah, that's why
Oh,
I didn't say anything. Sounds good.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Um,
And to
overall, overall better golfers in general. But there were
Exactly.
a couple of points that I wanted to go through from the comments of that.
Okay, great, great.
And so, particularly the faster greens and the harder pins. So, if greens are faster, how would that make putting more difficult? Because the hole's the same size,
Right.
and the capture radius is the same size. And
Yep.
for anyone who doesn't know what a capture radius is, it's essentially just a measurement of, the ball is a certain size, the hole's a certain size. If the ball is traveling at a specific speed as it gets closer to the hole, the where it has to actually hit the hole at to go in shrinks based on the ball going faster. So the slower the ball is going, the larger the capture radius. The faster the ball is going, the smaller the capture radius. Um, so if faster greens meant the ball is going faster, then the capture radius would shrink, which could explain a lower make percentage. But even that's not what's happening, because I'm assuming tour players have just simply adjusted and they don't hit the ball
Exactly.
as hard.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
they can mitigate that part of the issue.
Right. That was I saw that one and originally I was like, "Oh, well maybe," but then also that's just like a weekend golfer that's like they play on their Muni course and it's rolling like 10 and then that's on a Saturday and then on Sunday they go play on a 14 and they're like, "Oh, it's impossible because it just switched." These guys they are practicing every day. They are well aware of how fast the greens are going to be the second they step on them. They know how to calibrate that quickly. Change in green speeds is not going to do a thing for these guys for the most part.
No.
I mean, what now when we're talking about like going from I don't know to TPC San Antonio to Augusta, then okay, the greens are just way harder. So that's different. But not, we're talking just overall putting skill. Like it's like the speed of the greens just doesn't really matter. I don't
Yeah,
think.
yeah. To your point, like green complexes, that's a different part of the problem than green speed.
And those really haven't changed either, by the way. I mean, they play Augusta every year. That's obviously one of the harder ones. Most of the tour stops they're playing at the exact same places, other than a couple of the majors change around. But I mean, that is a constant throughout all of the years. So yeah, I mean that wouldn't even matter too much. Dan Winters is here if you want to say hi.
And
Hi Dan. Another,
so
by the
the,
way, I did see one single comment when because you scrolled through the comments, so did I. I saw one single comment in there that I actually was like, that actually could be a reason why they might actually be putting worse. And it was a comment that somebody said, uh, and this was against aim point, which I actually I sort of kind of agree with this. It is that because there is more aim point going on in 2005 versus 2025, there is more foot traffic near the hole. Therefore, later on in the day, it gets increasingly difficult for putts to go in because there's more variability with rolling on the green. And it's true. You shook your head, but Lou Stagner has also tweeted this that PGA Tour make rates morning versus afternoon are like fairly different because of traffic on the greens.
that
So
is true.
so if you I mean we're talking like very small numbers probably, but I mean if you're gonna say yes, there's just way more footprints near the hole, I would probably say that could be a factor, but there's just so many other things that just it doesn't make sense that yeah, maybe it gets a little harder, but also because the putts are coming from so far away, like they're just not doing a whole lot of one putting. So it just doesn't really matter anyway.
Right. And
Yeah.
so the reason I was shaking my head was not in dispute of uh, make percentage declining from morning to afternoon rounds, because that is true because of traffic.
Hmm.
And so because of traffic, because the grass is growing, And specifically, as you get closer to the sun going down, the dew starts to come in. So the
Right.
water picks up on the greens, which slows the ball down. So they're having to adjust on the fly of
Yeah.
the greens were faster and now they're slower.
Yep.
Um, but I don't think that aim point specifically is creating any more foot traffic around the hole than what there already was because people still have to walk to the hole to get their ball
Yeah,
up.
that's
You
fair.
can say maybe there's a couple more steps, but I don't think those couple more steps are doing any more damage than what it already was doing.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I was shaking my head.
Yeah. No, I didn't actually think about that part, but I would agree with you there. Yeah. Um, should we bring
So
this all the way back to amateur golf though, since we've just been talking about the pros and just kind of
one,
complaining about the tweet, or you
one,
got
one
more?
more one more thing with the harder pins.
All right.
Um, just I think I just wanted to point out that if the greens are indeed faster, what that does is that reduces the number of pin locations you can have on a green complex before it gets to a point where they just become unplayable. I mean, we've all seen videos out there of even amateurs out there
Mm-hmm.
who have to putt up giant hills, and if it doesn't go in, it comes back to your feet. I think we see it all the time, and like, I think there's a few amateur women's events, like
Yes. Yes.
that are out there
In
that they've
college
done
events.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, college events. It's like, what are we doing? So if they don't make this 20-footer, they have to putt another 20-footer.
Right. Right.
So the harder pins, maybe, but if the greens are faster, they have to put the pins in more level locations so the ball eventually stops, right?
No, I 100% agree with you. Yep.
But anyway, yeah, so bring it back around. Where are we going with that?
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, no reason to talk about it if it didn't matter to you and I, right? Um, so why that matters is, well, actually why it matters to me is because all of the comments that I were reading was like it's just none of it made sense, which tells me nobody understands the math behind it, and then now they probably won't understand their own math when they are playing golf. And what you will typically see, which is what we see in the PGA Tour numbers, although by the way, those percentages changes are very, very small. Like
Yeah,
you won't even notice those really.
we're talking about tenths of a percent here.
Right, right, exactly. But us, on the other hand, as amateur golfers, at some point you get good enough as a putter where your gains you just don't get a whole lot of gains, and this could be at any handicap level. You can be a great putter as a 30 handicap as long as you have, good speed and you can kind of sort of read the green a little bit. Same with the 5 handicap. At some point, as long as you practice putting, you just get to a point where you have gotten yourself to where it's mostly luck. That being said, as you then once you get to that baseline, so there's like a baseline of like decent to good putting, which everybody can get to. You don't have to have a whole lot of skill to do that. Putting is very random and lucky. So you get to the baseline, and then as you're improving your golf game, aka as you are hitting the ball farther and giving yourself more chances to hit the ball on the green in regulation more often, which leads to better scores. That is mathematically true. As you're doing that, you are going to see and notice that you are going to be missing more putts than you're used to. And that is because what I originally said is that when you miss a lot of greens, you're usually like around and by the way, unless you're a really terrible golfer, then this is a whole different story. But for the most part, you're around the green and you're chipping the ball often. When you chip the ball, your first putt is going to, for the most part, be very close to the hole, so you have a better chance to make it in one putt than you do when you are hitting a lot of greens in regulation and your first putt is from 20 feet or 25 feet or 30 feet. You're just mentally, it's just going to feel like you are a worse putter, especially if you're not keeping track of your stats, which most people don't. You're going to be missing more putts than you're used to, and it's going to feel like you're a worse putter because just because you are farther away. When you're farther away, you just miss more often. And so that is the theme of Brando's tweet. And that is the theme of amateur golf. As you get better, you will just notice you feel like you're just missing a little bit more. And it's not because you're getting worse at putting or any of that. It's actually because you're getting better at golf. And for the most part, the farther away you are, you just miss less.
Mhm.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and
But
to kind of
also
put that,
don't neglect putting either. Don't neglect putting.
well, don't start giving people the idea that you should practice putting. That's
Hey,
ridiculous.
we know we both don't. We this
Well,
is one of
I
those do as we say, not as we do things.
yeah, I mean, you should practice putting. But I was going to give a couple examples from myself this past last year. I think I had a round where I had 34 putts, but I shot like two over. And then I had another round where I think I had right like 29 or 30 putts, and I shot seven or eight over. I can't remember what, but somewhere in there. But was my putting better, or was my ball striking better? Well, like what? Which one was more likely? Like, was my putting that much better on the day that I shot, a 79, or was my putting worse? Like, no, I was just closer to the hole on the day that I shot worse because I was missing greens, so I was chipping, and then I had,
Exactly.
a 6 footer instead of a 20 footer. Like that just kind of happens that way sometimes, and it's a weird phenomenon that you don't really notice unless you are tracking your stats, which you
Exactly.
should. If you're serious about getting better at golf, you should track your stats, because that's honestly the only way that you will be able to say, this is what I need to work on. And that needs to be more than just greens and regulation, putts made, fairways hit, yada, yada. You have to
Yeah.
deep dive a little bit more. Like,
Actually,
for
don't even
example,
keep track of putts made.
putts
I'm
made is a really
I'm a
bad stat.
very large advocate of that. Not that should never even be a stat that anybody looks at, other than, oh, cool, a number, and then you don't think
Yeah.
about it ever again.
So I would say total putts doesn't matter.
No,
What
no,
you could track are three putts
yes,
and one putts.
from specific
Right.
distances.
Yeah,
Yes,
distances.
yes,
Distances matter. If you're
yes.
making a one putt from 1 foot, I don't really care.
Right. Yes.
But if you're
One
making
putt's from 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, and and then maybe you start talking about, okay, maybe 10 feet, 11 feet, 12 feet. You want to make sure you're kind of like in the 50% dish range, maybe a little bit worse. But yeah, now you're comparing to benchmarks, and instead of like I want to make all of them. you
right, yeah, but yeah, okay. So good point. Maybe it's more of, if you just wanted to track one putting stat without getting into a really big deep dive of like measuring off your putts, figuring out what your basket is, unless you use like Arcos or something that it's measuring that for you automatically. You could simply just track how many three putts you had.
Yeah, I would
It,
agree with
it's a
that.
it's a very simple thing to do. If you go a whole round with no three putts, you putted pretty well.
For I would agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
because even if you are hitting a lot of greens, I mean the greens just aren't. I mean, unless you're playing St. Andrews, like for the most part, and especially Minnesota, by the way, for the most part, greens just aren't that big. So you should be able to avoid most three putts hitting it within like 35 feet ish. If you're getting farther away than that, I mean, if you start getting to 40 feet, 50 feet, you might be just missing greens anyway. So, uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a great point though. Even if you're hitting a lot of greens, making sure you're not three putting once you're doing that is a key stat to track. I would agree with that.
yeah. Because I've had some days where I've driven the ball well, struck the ball really well, but I think I had like 5 or 6 three putts because I was just having a horrible day on the greens, and because of that, I shot 78 instead of 73
Right,
because my putting was so bad.
right, yeah.
But yeah, three putts is an interesting one to watch, and that's definitely a stat you should track.
I would agree with that for sure, 100%. We spend a lot of time talking about putting, and we don't even like putting.
Putting is the worst. If I could chip in on every hole, I would just prefer to do that.
I did.
But
Did you see my
besides
announcement?
missing greens, I did. You're gonna start practicing putting?
Yeah. Uh, I've only done it once since that announcement. When was that? 2 days ago.
Oh yeah.
Um, I might take that back.
Okay, so full disclosure, I took out like 10 golf balls and I put them in my living room.
Okay.
I'm like, if they're there, I'll practice putting. But then I had to put my putter back in my bag to go to simulator league.
Yes, yes.
Not pulled my putter back out of my bag to keep in the living room to practice putting.
Do
So I
you
practiced for one time.
do you in the simulator do you hit putts, or are you like I'm setting the gimme range to 40 feet and we're moving on?
So the league is 9 foot gimmies.
Seems
So
fair.
once you get inside there, whatever, you're good to go.
Hmm.
Again, we talked about this, I think, on the last podcast. I hate putting on simulators. I hate short game on simulators.
Hmm.
I can't do it, man. Like
Yep.
I'm too visual,
Yeah. Visual
and
and a feel guy. You're a feel
yeah,
guy too.
and I also realize this about Simulator League. I am so hyper competitive that I don't think I can play Simulator League. I'm going to continue doing it just because something fun to do. I can hang out with my friend, and we get to hit some balls.
Yeah, yeah.
But to be reliant on a computer to tell me where the ball went drives me insane. Like I flushed an 8 iron and the simulator said it went 130 yards.
Yeah.
On the next hole, I had another 8 iron that I flushed and it went 175 yards. I don't like that.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I don't
That's
know
fair.
how else to say that.
That's fair.
I am not a fan of it because it's just you're just beholden to whatever the simulator picks up, and I'm like, no, I've hit enough golf balls in my life that when I hit one good, I know what that feels like.
Hmm.
I'm like that ball didn't go 135 yards. It just didn't.
Yeah. Well, we're seeing that if anybody watches TGL, we see that in their I don't forget what simulators they're using. They're using Tiger Woods' simulator, which is as
Yeah,
a
full swing.
yeah, full swing. It has such a
Yeah.
such a terrible reputation for reading shots correctly. But we
It's
see
just
that
because
with
it
them
doesn't get
where
hit right.
yeah, they hit shots, especially with wedges, and they're like there's just no chance. Like those guys know how far those balls are going to go, and it's not like they have the difference either, where we're hitting indoors, hitting off mats where things get a little bouncy and things can be weird because of how mats work when you play off them. They're playing off real fucking grass. So so
Yeah,
it's not
like
like they have that excuse where it's like, oh, this is a different we're hitting off a different surface than we're used to. They're hitting off what they do this weekend. It's the exact same.
yeah, and I mean for those guys, if you told them to go hit a ball 130 yards, they're probably, 8 or 9 times out of 10 going to be plus or minus 3 yards
For
on that
sure.
number.
For sure.
I mean, me and you, we might be
We could do
plus or
that,
minus
I bet.
7 or 10 yards, 8 times out of 10, or maybe a little bit closer. I mean,
I bet it's
depends. But
closer. I did
now I
TrackMan.
want to test it.
You should, because I don't know if does your simulator thing have TrackMan or is it something else?
No, it's something else, and it doesn't pick up spin rates right, and that's why it's
Okay.
kind of a mess.
Okay.
But
That makes sense. So the simulators I've been playing on are the TrackMan IO ones. They're the ones above your head.
mhm,
Um, and the TrackMan has like a combine thing in there. So what it does is it gives you yardages. So you start at 60 yards, then you go to 70, then 80, then 90, then 100, then 110, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I think that's how it goes. And you hit three shots,
mm.
3 shots from all of them, and then you go back and redo it. I've took that twice now, and both times, just with the wedges. I don't remember how I was with the higher clubs. With the wedges, both times that I did it, like I could get the wedge numbers like within 3, 4, 5 yards. I think you'd be better at that than you think. Left
I
and right, different story. Different story.
Yeah,
Little different
yeah,
story.
that's true.
But as
I bet
far as like hitting numbers, I think you'd be better at than you think.
I'm gonna have to come up and play on the track, man, at some point.
You should. It also has its issues with reading numbers, I found out. Did I say that when I mentioned how my driver fitting went?
No, that was another thing we were gonna talk about tonight. We both bought new drivers.
We did. We did say that at some point, but I don't think we ever talked about how that's going.
No, because we were gonna talk about it a couple weeks ago, and then you had an issue come up, and then I was sick last week, so
Yeah.
it's yeah. But so we've both had new drivers for a couple
Yeah.
weeks now.
Yes. You want to talk about yours? Or you want me to talk about
Sure.
mine?
I'll talk about mine.
Okay.
So I didn't know if I was going to buy a new driver or if I was going to get a new shaft, but I wanted to do something because my spin rates were all over the map. My if I hit it off centered a little bit, it it could be a little messy.
Hmm.
So I went and I got fit for the TaylorMade QI4D. I posted on Twitter a few weeks ago, just kind of my quick reaction feedback to it. I mean, I hit 6 different drivers. I hit the new Callaway. I hit the Titleist GT, Cobra, Ping, whatever. I think I hit the Wilson too. The Wilson was
Oh,
surprisingly good.
that's not, is it the Dynapower or is it the one after that?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Dynapower?
yeah, that might have been it. That sounds
I
right.
think I think the Dynapower had fairly good reviews.
Surprisingly good. Cheaper than every other club,
Of
but
course.
surprisingly good. So if somebody's looking for a brand new driver that's not $650, Wilson might be a good option at I think it was like 450 for a brand new driver. Ball speed, it's not as hot off the face, but it still feels really nice.
Hmm.
But anyway, as I was going through the fitting, the GT was on sale. I wanted so bad to like that club because I didn't want to spend $650.
Of course, of course.
But I couldn't like it. I hit 3 shots with it. Every single one dead left. But I'm talking about 50 yards left. Not good. I don't know what it was. If I like I know how to hold a golf club, but it just
Right,
felt like the
right.
whole club face was just slammed shut at address, and it just went left. Um, but yeah, the other ones they were all okay. The spin rates were a little more inconsistent. Some of them, the spin rates dropped to like, it was like 1,200, 1,300, something like that. But I ended up getting uh, the blue shaft 60 extra stiff, um, which was key because my spin rates now, because I was able to get the core head, because
Mm,
my old driver, the QI10, the fitters put me into a stiff shaft, but the LS, and I'm assuming that was to get the spin rates right.
yep.
Uh, but what would happen is because the LS isn't as forgiving as the core head, off-centered hits would still be pretty punishing. Um, what I noticed right away with the core head of the QI4D is my off-centered hits were still coming off with like 160, 162-ish ball speed. And my really good strikes were coming off at like 166, 167 ball speed. And the spin rates on off-centered and good contact, they would stay right in that 25 to 2,900-ish range, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted to find a way to stabilize that spin rate and ball speed, which out of all 6 clubs that I tested, for me, the QI4D came in by far and away the best club that I hit. I know TaylorMade has issues, cracked faces, yada yada.
Yeah, you don't swing it fast enough yet.
I'm working on it. Okay, working on it. Little kid, trying to get stronger, faster. But
I'm just kidding. You swing it very fast.
I get 165 ish ball speed. Like it's fast
That's
enough.
fast. I was kidding. You swing it fast.
No, no, I do get a little self conscious in simulator league because my buddy he just swings and I mean his ball speed is like 180.
Oh
Like it's
my.
ridiculous.
Good for
But
him.
anyway, yeah, it's really loud when he hits the ball in the room.
Yeah. That no, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
But anyway, that was my experience, and that's why I went with the 4D. And we'll see what it's like when we get outside. But everything on the simulator, um, both from I got fit on a, GC quad, so I know those spin rates and launch angles
Yep.
and direction is all going to be pretty accurate. It even translated not the spin rates as much, but directionally and ball speed wise to the simulator at my club. Um, so I think that part is right. So we'll see what it's like when we get outside.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you jinxed the weather. You know that you
No,
know this is your fault, right?
no, dude, it's winter in Minnesota. I knew this was gonna happen, and you guys got like 8 inches of snow up there. We got
We got a lot of snow.
we got like a half an inch, and most of it already melted. Didn't even shovel.
That's I could not believe yesterday the how terribly managed and planned the roads were. This is nothing to do with golf. People, I have never seen this before. People were sliding up and down exit and entry ramps. That's not a thing in Minnesota. It was insane. But yeah, anyway, so I tweet driving ranges are open. I'm all happy and excited. I'm tired of hitting balls into white screens. And here comes Mitch ruining the day. Don't get your hopes up. It's a trick.
It's
It's a
always a
trap.
trap, man. It's February.
And then we get 6 days later, we get dumped on. I don't remember. I don't know how much. It was probably like 4 or 5 inches here, but
You know
I
what we
mean,
should do?
it probably set golf season back 2, 3 weeks.
You know what we should do is we should drive down to like Kansas City, or I've even looked at Tulsa. Tulsa from my house is like 9 hours, roughly.
That's a long
And then we
drive.
can call Dan Winters over there. Be like, Dan, we can meet you in Kansas somewhere. We'll play golf.
Is can't
I'm
full
just saying,
full
I don't know
disclosure,
why Oklahoma's so hot. Like it's like 75 degrees down there right now.
it is. Full disclosure, I'm not a geography major, so I don't really understand where Kansas is from where we are. Is Kansas like dead south from us, or are they
South
like a little east? They're west.
Southwest.
Mm, all right, maybe we could make that happen. I also have been in contact with our friend Jake Weaver, uh, our Iowa friend.
Hmm.
Um, I had the same thought as you. Maybe just a quick little trip
You know, I'm not opposed to it.
for a day. Your trip sounds more like a multiple day thing.
Yeah, it
I
would
was
have to
thinking
be.
more like a couple hours cross the border. It's gonna be like 10 degrees warmer.
I'm not opposed to that idea either. The main
But if
thing
you
is
wouldn't
just
have jinxed it, we probably could have been playing here this weekend.
it was always a trap, man. Always a trap. Minnesota lures you outside in February,
They
thinking like,
did.
"This is it. This is
They
it.
did. They
This
did.
is your time." And then it just snows. So much snow.
Yeah. I mean, it
Then
was amazing. The amount of snow like everybody got on the East Coast a couple weeks ago, and we just got nothing. It was like a slightly cold, but no snow, no nothing. Got super warm. I barely had any snow in the yard. And then yesterday, and it's over. Now I'm thinking about hitting balls into white screens again.
yep. I just pulled up the weather app, by the way. It's gonna be snowing in the middle of Iowa, but it is snowing in the middle of Iowa right now.
Mm,
So good luck with that.
that's unfortunate. Mm.
Anyway, you were going to say something about your driver fitting because you bought a new driver too.
That's correct. So well, I guess we already talked about that a little bit. It was the only one better than my current one. Uh, so we and that one's like 6 years old. So we got rid of the belief that you have to just have the newest and greatest thing for it to be the best. Uh, yeah. So the GT3 just like way better than anything of all time. Uh, which makes me surprised that it wasn't good for you because it seems to be good for everybody. Um, so I've been playing with it a little bit, and in the fitting, we fit it to basically be as far draw biased as you can put anything into a draw bias of all time. Everything just stopped the ball from going right because in the fitting, I had an issue with every club. Ball is just going a little bit right. But as we started putting draw settings on stuff, things just started straightening out a little bit. So, not surprisingly, I've started noticing balls are going left a little bit. Uh,
How far left?
uh, pretty far, pretty far. So I've already changed the setting on the driver a little bit, and that's helped a little bit. Um, so so far, I mean, it's still like my left misses before. I used to have a pretty bad left miss anyway. Um, so I don't think that has anything to do with the settings on the driver or anything. Sometimes I just hit balls that go left. And the misses left though, surprisingly, are not as bad. I guess maybe it's not surprisingly. They aren't as bad as they used to be. So I hit it left and I'm like, okay, that felt really bad, but also it wasn't as bad as I actually thought it was going to be. Like like some of them sometimes it feels like a complete duck hook and it's like it goes and it goes left and it goes pretty far left, but not like straight into the ground, 5 yards like it
So
would.
it's not like duck hooking where it just dives out and
Not
stays.
no, not anymore. No, 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 no. So I don't know if that's a driver thing. I don't really know, but what I have noticed is even on bad swinging days, things are just better. So that is a positive. It's hard to tell for sure because the TrackMan, the IO, the overhead one, from what I'm told, it reads launch a little bit low, and then so spin numbers get a little bit messed up sometimes. So I'm launching it fairly low on that, which I didn't like before, but I think it's just a matter of the simulator we're hitting it on. So all that to be said, the driver is for sure better. But I really want to hit it outside
Same.
because it's hard. You know what? You never really know until the ball goes more than like 10 feet. I mean, you know, because the math is the math, but there feels like there's something mentally there to just hit the ball and then you just know that the full flight is in front of you. All of that good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not putting too much into it till I can see it outside, basically.
right. And the math is the math, yeah. But you're still reliant on the camera images picking up the correct information to
Yes.
input into the formula to give you the outcome. And if the inputs are wrong, the outputs are wrong.
Yes. Correct.
Input shit, get shit is the old saying in modeling. But
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah, so
Garbage in, garbage out is how they say it
garbage in, garbage out.
in the accounting world.
Yep.
I said
That
I probably use that term once a week. Garbage in,
yep.
garbage out.
Yeah. Bad inputs, bad outputs. But anyway, so yeah, that's the tough thing with anything indoors is there's always going to be a margin of error that you're not going to get outside. The uh, what the ball does is what the ball does based on the physics of the shot. So you just get a better idea of what is actually happening, right?
Right.
Is the ball launching into the window you want it to? Is it actually spinning that far left or that far right? Um, you won't know until you're actually playing on the course with a good high quality golf ball, not a range golf ball.
Right.
So
Right.
we'll see. We
And when you get outside, things start to matter a little bit more. I mean, when you're hitting it into a screen, you're just there's a screen there. I'm just gonna whack it in the screen. When you get outside, it's like, oh, there's some trees over there. I'm trying not to hit it into. So
that that's
things just all change. Sight lines change. Everything changes. It's all
that's a
different.
good point. Because one thing I have noticed with my new driver and the extra stiff shaft is I feel like I can swing as hard as I want with it, and the ball just goes straight. Like, like almost like the stiff shaft would be a little too whippy, and every now and then you just lose one because
Hmm.
the shaft doesn't do what it's supposed to do. But the extra stiff shaft, I feel like I can just swing as hard as I want. The club face is square at impact, and the ball goes where I want it to. I'm really interested to see if that holds true on the course. If I can just get up there, step on it, and just let it rip, because that will be so freeing. If that's, I'm just imagining myself on the course, like even a tighter tee shot, and just being able to step on it and know that at worst case, this ball goes 25 yards offline, and I'm still going to be okay.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating. I was always surprised you were not in an extra stiff shaft to begin with, given your swing speed, which I admitted is fast earlier. So
Yeah, cruising at 110 to 115. It's nothing crazy, but yeah,
115, what 115.2 or something is PJ Tour average. If you want to be a
yeah,
PGA Tour player, you swing it plenty fast.
yeah. I just suck at everything else, but that was one thing my fitter like. I know Dan pointed it out right away, and then my fitter that I went to, he was like, "At your swing speed, he's like, you need to be in an extra stiff shaft. Like, you just need to be."
Yep.
Like,
Are your
what?
irons extra stiff?
I don't think so.
Mm, I want to look into that.
Mm, I'll buy new irons in like 5 years,
Okay.
maybe.
You can reshaft irons, can't you?
Probably. I won't,
Wonder how
but
much that costs. Is
shafts
that
cost.
basically like replacing the? You might as well just get new clubs if you're gonna reshaft. How
Yeah,
does that work?
yeah,
Because it's
essentially.
basically the same thing as reshafting the driver. You might as well just buy a new driver. It's the same. It's the same damn price.
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
Shafts are insanely expensive. It makes no sense.
yeah, I don't get it either. It's the same, but
Depends on the Dan says depends on the shaft. That's true. That's true.
yeah, that is true. So I was looking at driver shafts. It was like $400 to get a new shaft. I'm like, yeah, just going to buy a new driver.
I got lucky. I just got fit into the it's the extra stiff and all the good stuff. But I just got fit into a base shaft. We didn't even look at aftermarket shafts.
Yeah, me either. Base
That
shaft.
was very nice. Although I miss the look of my Hulk shaft, the bright green one. I have very bad thoughts in the back of my head occasionally where it's like maybe I'll just go grab that shaft and go get it retipped for a Titleist and just give it a try, you know? I'm horrible at tinkering with things. Horrible. I gotta give
Same.
it. I get.
I tinker a lot. Like, but I will never spend the money to tinker so much like some people do. So I'll just tinker with other random stuff where I can, like grip a little bit, you know, club face open or close at address, just little stuff like that. Rabbit meat
I do
hole.
it.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
Yeah. That's how we roll here.
Yeah. Yeah. For no other reason than just I like the look of the shaft. The driver now is all black, which is kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
Driver, the GT3 is fully black. The shaft is full black. I put a bright blue grip on it. I need some color. You know me, Mitch. I gotta have some brightness, some color, some something. So I had to put a bright blue grip on it, just for
I
something.
I did put a mid-sized grip on my driver, which was different at first. I put it on my irons. Again, it does feel different. It's a little bit bigger, but I also feel like I can put more pressure into the grip without
Yeah,
that pressure transferring to the club, if that makes any sense.
I think that's the point of them,
Yeah, because like
really.
I obviously like too much grip pressure. At least I have noticed my own swing tends to lead to pulls. Like if I grip a little too tight, I will pull the shit out of the golf ball. Um, but this again, all anecdotal until I can get outside. It feels like I can just grip it more aggressively without that pressure transferring to the club, leading to those pulls. Even when I feel like it's a pull, like if I hit, I'm like, oh, I pulled that. It's not like the ball goes, still fairly straight. It might be a little bit of a pull, but it's not, 40 yards left. It's 10 yards left.
Interesting, interesting. I switched to mid-sized grips. Not last year, year before, and I also noticed the same thing. It was harder to do that. I still hit it pretty far left, but sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, it's still gonna happen. Yeah, make
But
it
it
worth it.
was more difficult to do that, I noticed. So then I put them on every club.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. When you as you get lower, as you get better, your handicap gets lower. You know, at a certain point, you're not looking to gain a few strokes. You're looking to gain a stroke around a
Or
fraction.
half of one, yeah.
Yeah, like just fractionally better. And I kind of feel like that's where I'm at with my game is I need to find just small ways to improve that leads to, one more drive stays in play, one more green in regulation. I hit the ball 5 feet closer, just little tiny things that help improve my game. Like that's where I feel like I'm at because I'm
You are.
overall a well-rounded golfer. I just need to find little ways to improve here and there.
I mean, that's the case with most golfers at the zero level. You're to get to that point, you have to be fairly well rounded at everything. So yeah, then it's a matter of can I get a little bit better at putting? Can I three putt a little bit one more time less? Can I keep it in play one? It's all very small stuff. Depends on where it is. For me and maybe for you, it's can I keep a driver in play one more time? For other people, they might get to zero and be like, can I chip the ball without flubbing it one less time or whatever. But yeah, once you get to the level that you're at and I'm close to, very, very small gains to keep moving forward.
That's a whole nother topic, a whole nother
It
rabbit hole
is.
to go down
It
that we
is.
do not have the time for tonight.
We don't.
So on that note, we will revisit that topic
Okay.
probably next week.
All right.
We will see. But until then, make sure if you're watching this, we appreciate you first of all. But second of all, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Go over to our YouTube page, subscribe there, and just come hang out with us every Thursday night when we're not sick or things are happening. Because we are people and life happens at times and we get busy and we can't always be here. But
Mm-hmm.
the goal is to be here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Normal Time. But yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you guys.
Yes.
That's all I got.
Subscribes and follows and all that good
All of
stuff.
it.
All of it.
Comments, shares, it's all great. Everything's good
Yes.
for the algorithm. You have to
Yes.
feed the beast.
Yes.